This is the third and the final part of the Chat with Matt series where we talk about the medium format Z cameras as Z9 launches and we have a better view of how the entire system is shaping up. Should Nikon seriously consider medium format? Enjoy the chat. Very quickly, before we get into the conversation with Matt, we heard this speculation, we heard this rumor. I don't know whether it's true, it's likely to be not true, but you've heard that there's going to be a 102 megapixel Z9, and I've someone reached out to me and said that that there's some rumor going around saying that if there's a 102 megapixel Nikon Z6 Z9, I'm sorry, that could be a medium format camera. Now I don't know the truth of it, but it's something that someone just to talk to me about. It could be entirely untrue. Now let's get into the video and let's watch what Matt has to say about it. The Z mount into a medium format system. Should
Yes.
Nikon take it seriously? It's something that you started. I remember you made the video about I think close to 1.5 years back.
Yep.
When you showed you made it. In fact, you made it. You sort of measured it,
I
and
did.
Nikon Remote posted it,
Yep.
and there's a conversation began there. And since then, a lot of people have considered the possibility, especially with the development of the GFX system, especially after the launch of the S versions. People are asking, should Nikon do it? Can they do it?
Yep.
Should they consider it seriously?
Yeah, so this is I'll try and be as quick as I can because one problem with YouTube is if you don't, it's like a contract. If you don't cover every aspect of something, people go,
Yeah.
and it's like I didn't have time to say everything. You're right. This is why a contract around something simple is 28 pages long. So people, I probably won't say everything I want to say here. So the basically from a scale perspective, let's just start with the mount. It's basically very similar to how the E mount fits in there. The 35 mil sensor sits inside the E mount. It's pretty much the same that sensor would fit inside the Z mount. We know the E mount's very successful, so it'll certainly work. The next question is how many of the optics that we currently have would work now? Are any of them actually got a large enough image circle? I've had multiple conversations across multiple people. Some people have told me that that they've made a little thing and they've found that the image circle on some of the lenses already work. Now we have one data. We have one. Yes, we have one
They
data.
have?
Yes, not all of them. Like for example, zoom lenses are probably less likely to work. For example,
Oh, right.
but we actually have one data point of actual hard proof on YouTube because I just haven't had time to actually test it myself. Matt Granger has stuck his 200 mil f2, I think it was, with adapters onto the GFX 100, and it fully fits. So it's the larger sensor, right? So I think that's hard data, right? I think that all works.
So basically
So
move the flange distance, make the flange distance bigger so that the
I'm not. Maybe I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I think there are perhaps some lenses that we already have, maybe in F and in Z. Most likely, they're probably primes that will either fully work, but if you think about the Z lenses, what we all love about them is they're super sharp to the edges, and
yeah.
it's hard to tell about vignetting because it's corrected, but they're pretty good at vignetting and so on. So you could argue that maybe it's just because the image areas are actually a bit larger and we're not on the edges of some of these lenses, right? So let's just assume, I don't know, what have we got? Let's assume we've got 20 lenses now and 3 of them already work. Let's just assume that. Like, for example, the 50 mil 1.2, it's such a ridiculously big lens. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's just a little sneaky thing they actually made it to fit. Maybe, right? I haven't tested it. But so they're the two parts of the equation. Does it fit in the mount? Yes, I think it does. And are there any lenses? Maybe. But then it doesn't really matter if there's no lenses because let's say like Nikon will know exactly what lens does what. So let's say you've got the 35 mil and it gives you 10% above 35 mil. So you're using some of the sensor. And then another lens gives you 20% above 35 mil or whatever. And then it's like, so straight away, all my Z primes are going to work with this new medium format sensor. They're just they're in crop mode, right?
Right.
And then they start to release a few primes. I mean, if you look at the GFX system, I don't know how many lenses there are, but there's not many. There's like 12 or
Not
something.
many.
Yeah. And
Not
so
many.
Nikon can slowly release lenses that are just slightly bigger because it's not actually area wise that much bigger. And I would very happily, if a 50 millimeter 1.8 is $600, maybe it's $1,000 for a 50 mil 1.8 for this new sensor size. I would buy it like that. And I tell you why I'd buy it like that. And if I was new to the system, because that 50 mil then goes on my full frame camera, my 35 mil camera, and it also goes on my Z50. So I'm buying a lens that works on 3 different systems. So if I was like Verhagen, where I'm still, I'm not like you because you're already in Z. I'm still fully in F, and I'm like, I can get this camera and this lens system that gives me everything under the sun. GFX 100. It gives me 35 mil and it gives me APS-C. I can buy one set of lenses. It's absolutely a no-brainer.
Yeah, but
I
will
would
they do it?
Boom.
I don't know.
Okay, so that's what we call the business case, right? That's the business case. Do Nikon have the resources? Maybe, maybe not. And let's just take into account global pandemic and chip shortage and just put that to one side. Do they have the resources? The other part of the use case is the GFX 100, right? And the Hasselblad, which is a similar size sensor. There's absolutely a market there for it, and the GFX 100's becoming more successful. I think it's got a growing market. But what we have in the Z system is much faster focus. Like it's still a better over a GFX 100. I think it's a faster focusing and it's a higher performance system. So they would find that if they dropped this camera, they would have probably the best in market overnight, right? So I don't know if because I'm a small business person and sometimes we take massive risks to get ahead. I would get I'd get 12 engineers and I'd say, make me 1,000 of these and get them out. And, we only want to spend, I don't know, $100 million on this of our 6 billion annual turnover, but make it happen. And I reckon the world would go nuts. I actually think they'd go nuts.
No, if you ask me, I would just make a really kick butt stills camera. Forget video. Don't even have a record button on this damn thing.
Sure.
Just photography. That's it. Concentrate. Do your best job on the medium format photography only camera. For commercial, for studio, and that's it.
Well, interestingly, the new GFX, the video features are 1080p. I think it is, and so they've made that same sort of decision. And I think you're right. I don't know if you saw the chat I had with Seth Miranda, but he's shooting with the GFX, and he just I mean, he's a Nikon guy as well, but he's shooting with the GFX as well. He's
I
like
saw
all
that
of us.
chat. I was driving to Vegas. I'm like, you know what?
Awesome.
Yeah, I put my iPhone on the dash. I was like, I don't know if you noticed, I commented a few times.
I'm sorry. It was moving so fast that I struggled anyway. But thank you for being
great chat.
Yeah, thank you.
But that tells us that the market already exists and it's only going to grow bigger as the price points come down.
Yeah, like I would buy a GFX 100 tomorrow, but I do think there's a 50-50 chance that Nikon would do it. And if Nikon did it, I would buy it and 2 lenses straight away, even if I had to kind of like stick it on my Visa card.
Yeah, that's 120 megapixels. No.
And most of the infrastructure that you built around Nikon is already there.
That's it.
It's going to work anyway.
That's what I love about it. And not only that, but my F lenses would still work on it too, right? So you've just got this ridiculous ecosystem that you can use a lens from 1957 on your medium format, whatever. I've got medium format lenses that I'm using on my Z system. I don't know if you've seen me using my RB.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So you can use E lenses. Like it just becomes this catch-all system that is and you know, and we're not saying it's awesome because it's catch-all, because it's awesome anywhere, but it's also catch-all, like unbelievable, unbelievable. So
Quick
that,
question before you wraps up.
yep.
You think the new FTZ will have a screw mount to work with D lenses?
Yes. Well, I've had a bit of a look into this, and of course, there is the new Sony one that I didn't know existed. That's tiny, like it's just a little one, and it has the screw mount in it. So we know the technology exists, and it's completely possible.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to the business case. I made a video about that, which I haven't released, which is basically Nikon. If people are all in F and they can't, you know, let's say they've got enough lenses that are really valuable that they kind of go, I really want to take these screw mount lenses, but Nikon aren't, then, you know, show me the money, Nikon, and they're not, then they're at a crossroad where they go, oh, well, do I start fresh? Now, what number of people is that? And what number of people do you need to make it worthwhile manufacturing? Now, I did a poll, right? And I don't know where the poll's up to now, but it was like 1,500 people, and like 800 or 900 of them said they wanted this adapter. Now, I'm tiny in the scheme of the world. I reckon there's at least 10,000 people that want that adapter for Hagen, and I think 10,000 is enough to run the factory. So it really comes down to time, money. We know the production line's busy making all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
I actually think it wouldn't harm them. Oh, hold it, boys. My
Oh.
my battery's gone flat.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We can hear you. I
Yes.
think short answer is you think it's going to come.
Yeah. Well, we'll
No,
see.
I don't know. Anyway,
Oh.
I'm gonna flip over to my computer. That's gonna be easier.
Yeah.
Rather than messing around with that, because I think we've hit the 2 hour 35-minute mark. That's impressive, isn't it, gents?
Oh my God! This is a video in itself.
Yeah. Oh, there
So
I
you're
am.
using the
Not as good.
you're
This is
using the
this is built into my iMac. Not so
okay,
good,
so
hey?
yeah, but you're still looking great.
Yep.
Somewhat overexposed.
Yeah, dynamic range. So you're using the Z6 or Z7?
I was using the Z6 II, which was plugged in.
Okay.
It's supposed to battery eliminate. I don't know, because it's running the video feed, and I don't know whether I've got enough power in my USB.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I'm going into a USB hub, so I haven't tested this
Ah.
enough. I do actually have a battery eliminator, but I wanted to get. I thought we'll be fine. We won't go past 2 hours.
No,
So.
we're not going to cut this out because this is fun.
Yeah, no, don't cut it out.
Because the important point there that the Nikon can run so long with a single battery.
Yeah, no, it did. I mean, it's run for over 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
which is very impressive. I agree. And has it overheated? Absolutely not.
Nikon batteries are awesome.
Yeah, all that SEPA stuff drives me nuts. It's like
Oh,
it takes it takes 7 photos, and then you go out and you shoot for a day and a half. It's like, where do they get these numbers from? I mean, I've looked at how they do it, but it's just not helpful, is it? Because their numbers it's so different to real world. But anyway, did we finish the last question?
I think we did.
Good.
I think we did. So
Great.
it's been a wonderful chat. It's been a wonderful chat, and you've been such a kind guest because you've really, I think, tortured Vagan. We've tortured him by asking so many questions.
I love it. This is what I love.
Thank you very much, Matt. You're a great influence on YouTube. I hope you know that. You influence a lot of people in making the right decisions. And you know, I'm looking for thank you for joining us on this talk, and it was a pleasure. We learned a lot, definitely. You know, so
what can I say? I'm aware of both of you guys, and I've watched both of your videos. And so, world out there, make sure you subscribe to all 3 of us. If you've just randomly, the algorithms got you here, which it should have. We should have 1 million people watching this, shouldn't we, gentlemen? So make sure you check out The Rock Photographer and Frames. I did have a question for you. Is Frames a photographic reference? No.
Yeah, it is. But it's not my name.
But no, I know it's no, but it's a photographic reference. All right. Well, next time it'll be me. I will interview you guys. How about that? And then I'll learn more about you. But we should yes, whatever we should.
In the future,
and by the way, YouTube should. I'm looking forward to that video with Stu Blue that's coming up.
Oh yeah, yep. I'll let you guys know.
Right.
And in the
So
future, we're
yeah,
thinking about having like a little Nikon party with like 8 or 9 people on here. So,
Yeah, just let me know.
all right,
yeah,
I'll bring my
great.
party hat.
all right.
Look, the Z. Let's just hope, gentlemen, that the Z9 is all we want it to be, and then I think there'll be potential for a lot of conversation around that because we haven't talked about the Z9, but I think it's going to be it's got the potential of being the D3 moment, if you know what that term means. It's when Nikon arrives, they bring the class leading, they jump to the front again, and they address all the naysayers, and I think there'll be a lot to explore. I think it feels to me like it's a camera that's going to have a lot in it, you know. So
Yeah, and if I were
I
to
think
predict, you will have one on your hands very soon.
Yeah, I think the audience will pressurize you to get one. You'll be under pressure.
yeah, I have no idea. Like, can I tell you how that works? I get an email the day that things are formally announced or not, and it's only then. So I don't have any pre run up to things. Like
Hmm.
someone like Seth, Seth and DP Review and all of those, Kai, those guys all get
Hmm.
pre-production stuff. And what Nikon send me is the production stuff, which
Hmm.
means, and it tends to be about a month, because they'll say it's coming in a month, and that's when they're putting them in boxes and shipping them around the world. So they put it in box and they ship one to me. So I'm sort of an in betweener. I'm not seeing the pre-production stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I wonder how many of the Z9s are going to be in the world that they even have enough to send any here. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's wait and find out. I think
Cool.
we've got about
Yeah,
literally a month to
yeah.
go. That's my best guess.
Fantastic, fantastic chat, guys. Thanks so much,
Thank you,
and
Frames.
we'll
Thank
see
you,
you very
Matt.
soon.
Thank you. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
we'll see you soon. Oh,
Okay.
that's crazy. I was
Oh,
so
wow.
conscious of me kind of really pushing it to the limit with the time that you have taken with you, Matt. But yeah,
Yeah, I
Oh, look,
appreciate it, man.
it's a
Big
total
time.
pleasure, and it's really more. I would talk about this stuff all day, but real life gets in the way. So it's not because I don't want to
yeah.
be here. It's more that.
I love that your answers to what inspired you. Oh my God, that's a lovely, lovely session. That
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I don't think about these things much. So but
So
Well,
what? So have you Vagan recorded it or how? Like I haven't recorded. So you're going to. So there you go, guys. Help me with a like and by subscribing to this channel if you enjoyed this chat. It helps this channel reach out to more people like you who will benefit from watching this channel, who will enjoy watching this space. Matt has promised to come back and do another round, and I know he's going to keep his word. Matt, if you're watching this, it was lovely to chat with you. I remain a big fan, and you've inspired me to talk about my points of view in front of the camera. See you very soon.